back. Hi there, everybody. I'm Nick Reveles. Well, you did it. San Diego Opera has announced its 2015 season, and we're ready for business. I don't care if you gave $30 or $30,000, all of your gifts, every single one of them, helped put us back in a position to be able to offer a wonderful new season of opera, and I can't thank you enough. Now we're selling tickets and subscriptions at a record pace, by the way, and hopefully by now you've purchased yours. I know I have, and we're looking forward to hearing from you. I know that some of you gave because you just thought it was important for the city of San Diego to have an opera company. But you've never actually been to the company to see an opera. Or maybe you've only been once, or it was a lot of years ago. Well, the 2015 season could not be a better time to get your opera on. It wasn't planned this way, but strangely, the operas and the concert we're offering this coming year are just perfect for those of you who want to try opera for the first time, and in fact, the operas this year are in a perfect sequence for those of you who want to get to know this art form better. Let me explain. The first opera up, opening January 22nd, is Giacomo Puccini's La Boheme, and it's generally considered the best choice for a great first opera. That's because it's got everything. A clear, concise story about young people in love, a big romantic score, characters that are well defined and who you can fall in love with immediately, and a pace that moves along quickly, like a well-made Hollywood film. It's got comedic moments, romantic moments, tragic moments, everything that makes engaging musical theater. I can't tell you how many people in our audience have told me that La Boheme was their first opera and how it helped them fall in love with the art form. Well, that's because it's an easy opera to love. The combination of music, words, and story is perfect. I don't think any other opera achieves that unity of purpose quite so easily. This is, by the way, the opera that inspired the Broadway hit Rent. So if you saw and loved Rent, you'll definitely want to see and fall in love with La Boheme. The next offering, opening February 14th, is Mozart's Don Giovanni. Now, I'll tell you, Don Giovanni is a perfect second opera. Why? Well, it has all the things that Boheme has, certainly. Great music, a riveting story, comedy, pathos, and tragedy. But the music points to a deeper level of understanding. The libretto, or play, by Lorenzo da Ponte, expressed through the timeless music of Mozart, despite having been written 228 years ago, shows a very modern, deeply psychological understanding of human emotions. It takes you to places that you wouldn't expect. In many ways, La Boheme is easy to love and understand because so much of its power is so accessible. In Don Giovanni, we have characters that are not all that easy to love or understand because they're a mixture of good and bad, remarkable and average, with likable and unlikable traits. Well, that's just like us, isn't it? Like human beings, people we deal with every day. Mozart and Da Ponte understood that. So as the music pulls us in, we suddenly realize that the opera's about us, a metaphor for our lives, our foibles, our victories, and our failures. Don Giovanni can show us that the art form of opera can really help us understand what it means to be human, and all great art does that. The third opera in the 2015 season, opening March 14th, is Nixon in China, an opera that gives you an instant example of what opera can be for a contemporary audience. So it's a great opera to follow two operas from the standard repertoire of 18th and 19th century works. Nixon in China was written in 1987 by the American composer John Adams to a libretto or story by the poet Alice Goodman. It's also a depiction of historical events that occurred within our own lifetime, the historic visit of President Richard Nixon to China. This event essentially opened up China and by extension all of Asia to the west, and the political repercussions are still being felt quite strongly today as China quickly becomes the dominant force in geopolitics. Adams' music is what we call minimalistic, but it's very accessible. It's got a hypnotic nature that pulls you into the action. Perhaps you're not used to hearing colloquial English sung quite in this way, but it helps stretch an audience's understanding of opera, that there are subjects and themes that at first glance don't seem to lend themselves to musical treatment. But Nixon in China defies that preconception. It's entertaining and challenging at the same time, and its kaleidoscopic score keeps you constantly on your toes. Finally, on April 18th and 19th, we'll have our 50th anniversary celebration concert at the Jacobs Music Center, Copley Symphony Hall. During our recent crisis, so many artists around the world reached out to us, asking us how they could help and offering to come sing at a special celebration as we reached our fundraising goals, as well as reached our 50th year of service to the San Diego community. Along with the San Diego Symphony and the San Diego Opera Chorus, a stellar array of artists will join us to celebrate this golden anniversary, which is being planned even as I speak. Keep checking our website, sdopera.com, for a list of names of artists who will join us for this fantastic event. At this concert, you can be sure that you'll hear excerpts from all the great operas, giving you a wonderful musical overview of the best that the operatic tradition has to offer us. So, in this 2015 season, we have a sequence of operas and a special event that'll give you a taste of the very best that opera has to offer. A great first opera in La Boheme, an offering that will give you a deeper experience of the art form in Don Giovanni, a glimpse of what opera can be as it reflects the world we live in through Nixon in China, and a celebration of San Diego Opera that presents a concert of best-ofs and greatest hits. How can you beat that? In the coming months, as we lead up to the season, I'll get into greater detail about all these operas and more events to come, so get ready and get your season tickets today. And I'm so happy that finally, once more, I'm able to say to you, I'll see you at the opera.